Hello, everybody. I don't know how many people are here yet, but hopefully you can hear me. If you can, please feel free to give us a little message saying that you can hear us. And I've got Derral here with me. Derral, you want to say hi?
Hey, hello everybody. How's it going?
Excellent. So start typing into that chat box. Just tell us that you can hear us, and we'll be glad to move on here. We don't want to move on until we know that you can hear us. And before we get started, I will just do a little bit of housekeeping here. If you have any questions, put them into the chat box. We'll try to follow them as best we can. I can already see that the chat is filled with comments already, so we'll try to roll back and check those out. And I'm not seeing anybody saying they can hear us yet, so somebody type that in there so I know. I keep seeing hello, but I want to make sure you can actually hear me. Yes, they can hear us. All right, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce Derral here. I'm sure most of you probably know exactly who he is at this point in time, but this is Derral Eves, the certified, and I'm jealous that I get to say that to you, certified YouTube expert. And we're going to talk a lot today about some of the changes that are happening in YouTube, changes that have happened in YouTube, and you know, what's going to be
Will
going on
continue to happen in YouTube too,
yes,
right?
nonstop, and it
Yeah,
seems it never does end. You know, soon as we make a video showing something off, they'll change a button or something so that people can leave messages in the chat going, "It's not there anymore."
exactly. Exactly.
So here he is, all the way from only about 2 hours away from me. Well, no, probably more like 4.
About 3.5. 3.5.
Mr. Derral Eves, out in the deserts. How are things down there?
Hey, do you know, things are going great. I love where I live. It's one of the most scenic, beautiful places in the world, and I think I need to show a little picture. I think everybody wants to see a picture of where I live here. You can see my backyard. I think is the important thing here. I think I got one here. Hold on one second. Oh, okay, here's my backyard right here. So I love it. This is like the view from about a mile from my house. It's Zion National Park. And if you look at some of those peaks, there's some crazy people that actually ride mountain bikes like straight down. We call it the Red Bull Rampage, which is coming up here soon, which is always fun. But you know, I love where I live. It's great. I don't have to freeze like you do, Ray, in the winter. So
Yeah, we do freeze a little bit up here. In fact, even this morning, I was looking to see if there was frost, but not quite yet.
yeah, it's coming.
Oh,
Winter
it is
is
definitely
coming.
coming. It is definitely coming. So, well, let's jump right into this because I know, you know, we did the radio show the other day and we went on forever because there was so much to cover. So I want to just get right into this, and I'm going to turn the time over to you to kind of throw out there whatever you think people should know right away, and then I'm going to make my goofy comments as we go along and
Yeah, for sure,
throw in
for
my 2
sure.
cents.
Now, I think the biggest thing, Ray, of what I've been kind of talking about, it's kind of like my little soapbox, is there's a lot of people trying to game YouTube and to get the workarounds and you know, find the next ninja technique. And if they'd only harness their energy in doing best practices for YouTube, they would be further ahead. Now, let me ask you specifically, Ray, and maybe you would feel comfortable in doing this, but would you want to jeopardize your whole livelihood and the livelihood of your clients off of something that's fast and fleeting, or would you want it more stable and so that you know that, hey, if I'm doing it this way, it's actually going to build my business and grow my business versus you don't know what's going to happen next week or even next month?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and no, I really wouldn't. And I know that, you know, we've been doing tricks on YouTube for years. You know, I mean, if you think of everything from 2 years ago, it was go to Fiverr, buy 10,000 views, buy a couple of link pyramids, and you'll be on page 1 by tomorrow. And you know
Correct.
what? You were.
And there's someone preaching against that, though. Just I don't know who it was, but it does catch up with you after a while. But what I want to kind of go over is just the basics of YouTube, understanding YouTube, and how to actually make it work for you. Now, I have a lot of clients that pay me a lot of money to basically give them some best practices, and I thought, you know what? what a great way to actually have a good webinar to go over some best practices, and then also talk about why YouTube's going the direction that they're going. So before I get into best practices, I actually want to kind of go over, why YouTube's going down the path that they're going. And it's kind of through some awkward period. You remember when you were a teenager, Ray, and you had zits, and your hair wasn't the way that it needed to be, and you felt awkward going to school. You remember that? I sure remember.
Yesterday, actually, but
oh, was that yesterday for you? Well, for me, that's an awkward time. You don't like to look in the mirror, or you're trying to figure out, how it is. And I could show you a picture of when I was that age, and everybody would laugh for sure. But YouTube and Google Plus were kind of going through this awkward relationship. And let me kind of explain the whole process so everyone understands where it's going. And I've been preaching this for years, but basically the center of Google, the Googleverse is what I like to call it, is Google Plus. Now, it wasn't the way that it was set up before, in the sense of having it be a social network, but it's to authorize you to use certain things. And so, to give you an example, now to even do a comment on YouTube, you have to have a Google Plus account, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, the reason why they're doing that, and I want everyone to understand, is because they're evolving their search into what they call semantic social search. So depending on the words that you use and all the different variations from there, that's where you're going to get search results. But the second way is who you're connected to and what you actually like. And that's driven through social signals, and it's all brought together in the middle of it by Google+. Now, keep this in mind. Ray is in one of my circles, and when he actually makes a comment, it actually is on page 1 for that search result for my results. But for someone down the street that doesn't even know who Ray the video guy is, they're never going to see it. It might be buried in, 20 or 30 or 40 pages down, but it's making relevant search for each individual that's there. And so that's kind of the thing of where it's all going and evolving, and the ranking factors, their algorithm, it's all trying to get rid of the people that are gaming the system and giving legitimate traffic to what you actually want to see. Now, that can get really frustrating, especially in our industry, because, I've been doing internet marketing since 1999, and the only thing that's constant in that is change. It totally is, and that change is happening every day, every moment. And basically what we can expect of where Google and YouTube's actually going is they need to solve a huge problem, which is there's so many different devices now. People can get access to YouTube on their phones, on the TV, on their iPads, Kindle Fires, you name it. There's all these different devices, and the way that they had their UA just didn't work. It really didn't work at all, because they'd have to get a mobile version and the other one. They wanted to have one thing, one type of version of YouTube, and depending on the device that you had, it would go ahead and fit into that geographic area, right, and everything would work beautifully, including their the browser itself, not the browser, the player itself. And ultimately, that's kind of the struggle: is how do you actually design it that it can work over multiple multiple devices at that time. Now, would you say, Ray, the last probably 2 months we're kind of out of that awkward period? Have you seen any major changes besides moving Creator Studio around? Outside of that, that's really affected you?
Yeah, and mostly it's just been cosmetics, just to throw people off their game, move the thumbs up, thumbs down across the page, and things like that.
But you see where they put it, and I want to tell you why they put it there is so that you can do it from your handheld. That's right. The UI. I'm here to tell you, it's all about that. So it's very, very easy if you're on your handheld with one thumb, and you can hit the thumbs up, thumbs down. And so there's multiple things and multiple reasons why they're doing it, and it's small, little, teeny cosmetic things. But I think they finally got their groove. I think they finally have what they're looking to do, and really getting that rolling in the right place. There's a lot of problems, to be honest with you, still. There's been so much changes over the last little bit that a lot of people need to be educated, and so of course, channels that do some education like mine, has seen a lot of benefit because everybody's ready to pull their hair out because they can't even do a basic thing like how to delete a video anymore. So.
Yeah. And that's true. We get a lot of questions about very basic things like that. How do I wait? I've got 5 of myself when I click that button now, 5 channels under my name.
Yeah.
How do I get rid of them all?
Yeah, and there's still a lot of awkward periods, but it's really nice that I don't have to have 85 different Gmail accounts that has my name, Derral Eves, on, and I can actually manage an account. Like I have a client that I met with today. It was just like, okay, make me manager of your YouTube channel, and it's going through a G+ page, but then I pull in all the stuff that I need, and I can do my job really, really easy. And so they are making it nice. There will still be a lot of little awkward things from there, but I think we got over the most awkward period. The zits are almost all gone now, and we're ready to go out to school and pick up the chicks. So
Nice.
Yeah. But I don't know about you, but I'm super excited, especially with the recent news with Amazon acquiring, a wonderful company that actually gets a ton of views, more views than Facebook and Amazon combined, and it's the Twitch network. And then also Facebook announcing that they're actually moving forward with getting some more validation for their video views, and that's all it's going to do is create competition. Which there really hasn't been any competition, serious competition, with YouTube, and I think everybody's going to bring their A game. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, no, I agree. With the exception of Mr. Wong, that was their only competition. But
Mr. Wong.
People are probably going, "What in the world are you talking about?"
Exactly.
If you didn't have like Traffic Geyser, you probably have never heard of this video site. But it's one of the ones that used to be in Traffic Geyser called Mr. Wong.
Mr. Wong. Okay, so I want to pose the question before I move on to best practices. I was hoping to pose the question: does anyone have any question about the direction of YouTube? Also, if you have any questions about any of the interface design stuff and you don't understand a few things, now's the time to actually put it in the comments below. We can definitely have that discussion. Ray, if you would mind moderating that a little bit. And the great thing about that, if you have that question, is I might not know the answer, but I do try to do my best to know kind of ahead of the curve what's going to happen. And, I definitely try to associate with people that all they do is eat, drink, and sleep YouTube. And it makes it a lot easier to kind of forecast things that are coming. I did a warning on the radio program, the podcast, and I'm going to put it here as well because I know there's a lot of people using some very black hat methods to get things to rank, but you better watch out, for that stuff like that. So, if there's any questions, Ray, just go ahead and definitely let me know about them. I'm going to move on to when the questions come in. They're probably wondering what I was talking about. Yes. It is the GSA. If you use any type of GSA backlinking and that software, please watch out, and please be careful of what you're doing, because honestly, it's going to hit people hard. And the thing that I get nervous about, I'll be honest with you, is when you're having livelihoods and people's lives that they're entrusting you with. I think that's something that you need to take into consideration. So,
absolutely.
Ray, I guess we have a couple questions. You want to kind of go through those questions?
We've got a couple of them here. The first one, and I like this one. Here's a basic one, and we'll hit this one slowly over time here, is they want to just know what's coming down the pike. And we'll talk a lot about that throughout the conference, whatever we're allowed to say anyway. But another one that has come up a couple of times, and from Jack, and I think might be him that wrote it before too, changed in the last few months the non-availability of videos on certain first pages, like things for realtors, electricians, etc. Have you seen that, I guess, is what I'd ask, because I have not seen those being excluded, but have you seen that, and is there anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, there is an update that of how many videos you can actually have being displayed. And it does, in that last major update on Google, it has made an effect on a couple key factors on how they actually rank video, based off of people trying to game the system. And it is more difficult for certain key terms to rank, but I haven't found where I couldn't rank a video yet.
You know,
And
you
it
know what
sounds
I,
like,
you know what I have found, which is something we should talk about a little bit, is a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago, or just a little while back, I found it was pretty easy to put up a good video, have a good keyword, have good titles, descriptions, tags, maybe just put it on some social bookmarking sites, and be on page one the next day. I've found that doesn't seem to be happening like it used to anymore. Have you seen that?
do you know, it's true. It is a little bit more difficult to actually get to the page one, just by doing some subtle things. There are a few things going on in the temporary sandbox. If you hit it too aggressively and it's not across their little algorithm, you can definitely be sandboxed in that first 28, 30 days.
Right.
But it really depends on the approach that you're trying to get the visibility. And one thing that I found, and this works across the board for whatever you at, if you can use social media to drive traffic to the watch page for that video, that will in turn affect your Google ranking, without any other things that are there. It's just getting some traffic to it from social locations like Twitter or Facebook or Tumblr, even Reddit. What you need to do is get some traffic that's generated in a short amount of time, and that will affect your ranking not only in YouTube, but it also will affect your ranking in Google.
Nice. And would you recommend maybe running Facebook ads or something like that?
Oh yeah, no, I definitely would. I do that as a practice for a lot of my clients. We'll do some pre-roll video, and we'll also do Facebook ads that we're just targeting a specific group and sending traffic back to YouTube. Now, keep in mind, I want everyone to understand too. If you embed a video in Facebook, I've done this, and it still bothers me, but if you embed a video in Facebook, some of the views you don't ever see in your analytics. Right. It basically is non-existent, and I think there's a little tiff war going between YouTube and Facebook, and I think it's both sides that are having issues with that. But realistically, I've literally brought in over 1,000 people, and I literally made sure that they actually watched the video all the way through, and it only registered for about 300. So.
Yeah. Well, you never know, but at least you're getting exposure that way and getting something out of it, which is good. All right, before we continue on any of this other stuff, let's get a basic thing down here. Some people want to know, what does being YouTube certified mean, and how did you do it?
Okay, so there's a couple ways you can actually become a certified company. To do that, you're either a provider that works with YouTube itself. So there might be some software companies that are pulling in, YouTube's API, and it does things, and so they want to make sure that they're certified so they have an understanding. It's a different track, but there's also a track for content creators and also independent consultants. And the content creators, if they are really bringing in the hundreds of millions of video views. When I went through my certification, we had like the strategic director for WWE, BBC America, NBC, and so on. They were all in that group of about 32 people that went through the course. But to do an independent, there's only been a few of us. Mark Robertson is one, Tim Schmoyer's another, and myself, and there's just a small little handful of those independent consultants that are doing it. And it's basically you have to be nominated by a vice president of some sort from YouTube, and then you're put on a waiting list. And so Tom Pickett, thank you very much. Vice President of Content from YouTube, thank you. So that's how mine went through, is through Tom. So
nice. All right, so let's see here. We've got okay, Charles is wondering, Is it better to have one account with various channels or separate account and channels for your niches? Which is the best practice? I'll tell you which I prefer, but you go ahead
Go
and
ahead.
talk.
Go ahead and answer that, and
Uh,
I'll see
I
if
was
I
going
can.
to say I'm a lazy son of a gun.
Yep, me too.
I want to have as many channels as I can under one name. You know, I know
Yep.
people say, well, gee, what if, the third one gets banned? Are you going to get completely kicked off of YouTube and all that? But it appears, and I could be wrong, it appears that they do treat them very separately. But I've never had a problem with any of
Don't
my
do
channels.
anything that'll get you banned. Let's just
What's
solve that
that?
problem.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly. Right.
let's don't break the terms of service. Come on. And they'll be very forgiving, especially if they've just updated the terms of service that you're not aware of. But I mean, once a month I go through that terms of service, see if there's anything changed. They don't do a very good job notifying of us. But realistically, I want everyone to understand how YouTube works, and it's really going back to how Google Plus works. So Google Plus, you're either a profile of an individual or a business. So the way I like to look at it, if you have a tax ID number, either a Social Security number or an EIN number, that you're basically, that's how they separate it. So you're either a personal profile or a business profile. Now, a personal profile can have a page, and so can a business profile. So those profiles can have pages that are there, okay?
Right.
And those pages can be attached to a YouTube account. So yesterday, I actually had someone pay a lot of money for one of my clients to sell their YouTube channel, and we transferred that over as an item of good without turning over the username and password for the account. All we did is moved it over to a Facebook page, or I'm sorry, a Google Plus page,
Right.
and we created a manager, and then we changed the owner. It took 2 weeks to do that, and then after that, he actually owned all the product legitimately through Google. So I mean, you're able to do that. You can change, ownership. You can bring on up to 50 managers, and you can have up to 50 YouTube channels that's actually attached to that one Google Plus account. So what I do for me personally is I have two, because I have a lot more than 50 that we manage, but I have one that are my personal, that I keep my personal eye on. And generally, those are the ones that I have an interest in it. And then everything else, I just want to be able to go in and do that. But it's really simple. I can actually log in as the manager of the other one, and it can go from there. And you can have up to 50 accounts. So hopefully that answers it.
Yeah, I think so. And like I said, I'm lazy, so I like to do it that way anyway. I know some people say, keep them separate, but no, don't do that. That's no fun. But here's a big one, and we're going to hit this right away, and we'll just jump on this one. Is a lot of people are asking, what is GSA that we're talking about and all that? And basically what it is it's a program that builds backlinks, and it does it from all sorts of various things, from articles and other videos and whatnot. But it's basically building false backlinks and a false backlink profile to your videos or to your channel, and they've got ways of detecting those crazy
Well,
things.
let me explain the ways to how they detect it, because it's very simple. I mean, let's say that you have a GSA backlinking system in place, okay? And these are articles that are backlinking to the video, to backlinking, so on and so forth. You know how they're doing it. So when they come back down to it, and Google actually looks at it and says, "Wow, they have all this backlinking structure, but yet that video only has 10 views." And the audience retention on those 10 views is about 3%. There's ways to detect it, and I'm here to tell you the merge is happening right now in the algorithm, and what they want to do is give less value to links, but more value to your personal interaction. So if I'm connected to you, I see the things that you're interested in, the things that you comment on. When you leave a review, guess what? I get to see that review. Sometimes I get to see it in ad form. Well, not anymore because of the political stuff, but you can still see the interaction from there. And hey, do you know what? If we're connected through another thing like Yelp, or even we're doing Foursquare or whatever it may be, they're going to take that into consideration. And that's the whole thing. That's the linking structure from the social side. That's really going to change everything. And I'll be honest with you, I've seen it from the beginning of social signals. and using those social signals, but it also comes back down to how they evaluate, if it's actually a good video or not. And that's what they're trying to do, is provide the best quality content that you'll consume. And here's the next key: without leaving Google. And that's the next version of that, is you'll be able to watch videos right within the search results itself and not even leave. And they've been testing that out for how long now, Ray? I mean, 18 months? So it's huge. Oh, it looks like Ray is gone. He said that he just got his power outage, so he just sent me a text message. So the important thing on this is, let's not do anything that's black hat. Let's always look forward to the things that will help us really grow your views, which was creating an audience. So I'm going to go through some questions here real quick. Let me go ahead and pose a couple things here real quick. First thing is, if you want to check out more information, you can go to my channel at youtube.com/Derral Eves. I put 2 videos out every week, on Monday and Thursday, and some weeks I get a little crazy and I might put 4 or 5 videos out, but every Monday and Thursday you get a video, and it's all about helping you be successful on YouTube. So if you want to check that out, you can definitely do that. Let me go ahead and kick up some more questions here while Ray's trying to get back on. And hopefully, I want to make sure that it's still going, because he got completely booted out, and I'm not an admin. If you can hear me and you can see me just fine, would you go ahead and say, hey, it's still rolling? That would be great. I could definitely use it, because I don't want to talk to myself. And I know we have a little delay. So if you can put in the chat real quick that you can hear me and see me just fine, because Ray's completely booted out, and I want to make sure that that we're good. Okay, great. Thanks, guys. I know there's a little bit of delay, and I do apologize for that. It looks like Ray got completely booted out. I don't know how, because I don't even think I'm an admin, but we'll just kind of go ahead and proceed forward. Yes, this is live. All right, so let me go through a couple things on this as well. I'm just going through a couple questions real quick, and they're talking about ranking videos. What's the best practice to rank videos? So when it comes back down to it, I think the most important thing that you can do is make good quality content that the viewer will actually watch, and then get a whole bunch of people to watch it in a short amount of time. Okay, so what that means is, I like to usually say a 6-day window. And I want to, in the 6 days, I want to get as much traffic as I possibly can. Well, this is the way that you do it. Number one, you post it on your Google Plus page. You can kind of coincide back with that. Number two, you try to notify your subscribers by making it public. It's going to notify your subscribers, but you also want to put it through social media. So there's like a little share button underneath the video. You want to make sure you have a profile on all those and just post it out there. Get some natural traffic that's actually going to that. Number three, if you actually have an email list, send them an email. An email would be extremely important to do, so that you can actually say, hey, here's my new video that's coming out. You're getting all this fresh traffic within 6 days, okay? And any other way, like buying Facebook ads, doing pre-roll ads, any of that would be fantastic. You have a kind of a little 6-day period, and the more traffic that you get, not just to watch 2 seconds of the video, but to interact with the video, to comment, to share, to like, to tweet, to retweet, so on. That is extremely powerful for not only yourself, but for that video visibility. But what you're trying to do is create as much buzz around it as possible. Now, honestly, hopefully, Ray, are you back now, or is that just?
I am. Can you hear me?
Oh wow, what happened there, bud?
We literally lost power, like gone.
Okay. See, Ray was like telling me, "Oh yeah, and let's do the hangout," and like, I've never had a problem, and all it is problems. I see how it is.
But I'm back.
Okay. Well, I thought where you were completely gone. I thought, okay, this is not even live, and I was like, I almost wanted to pick my nose and like that. But I asked them if they could hear me, and it was like a 3-minute delay before they even knew. So basically, I was just going through, just talking about best practices when you actually post a video. What I would do in that situation is to get as much traffic as you possibly can. You know, from all the different mechanisms that you can get traffic, like posting in groups like your group, and you know, commenting on it, get it in G+, also do Twitter and send out an email, all the natural things.